All right, how many of you grew up in the 80s? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have heard of the 80s? There's a couple young ones in the room. I just wanted to be sure. Well, I love the 80s. The 80s was my decade. You know, they say that everyone has a decade that you most relate to. You know, the music, the style, all that. Well, for me, that was the 80s. And so, what's the first thing you think of when you think of the 80s? Just shout it out.
Madonna.
Madonna, big hair. What
else?
Big Bang.
Big bangs, yes. Parachute pants. Who all had the leg warmers? Any ladies? Of course, of course. Well, when I think of the 80s, the one thing that I think of more than anything else was the big hair. And I had that big hair, and I loved it. And, you know, we thought we were so cool with it. But the reason I even bring up the 80s and why I'm even having a little fun with it is because my entire life changed in the 80s. In fact, it was 1989. I was just getting ready to go off to college, and my parents wanted to give me a really big gift. You know, a gift that would just change your life and get you propelled and ready to go off into the world. And so when my parents were so excited to give me this gift, they call me to dinner and they say, Michelle, you know, they have something to hand me, and they say, Michelle, we've got a big gift for you. This gift is going to take you places. I'm like, oh yeah, well, it's going to take me and my friends where I want to go. Michelle, this gift is going to be the envy of all your friends. So of course, it's got to be the convertible, right? Michelle, this gift is going to change your life. That's right, I know. Hand me the keys. Michelle, this gift is a ticket to a seminar. Woo! Right! That's how I felt. So no joke, really truly, that was my gift. It was a ticket to a seminar, but it wasn't just any seminar. It was a motivational seminar. I'm 18 years old. I don't want to be motivated. Right?
Yeah.
But it was a seminar called Born to Win, and it was hosted by this guy named Zig Ziglar. How many of you have heard of Zig Ziglar? Pretty much everybody. Well, I had no idea who he was. I certainly didn't want to spend 3 days with him, but I go to the seminar and it changed my life. You see, for the first time in my life, I was surrounded by like-minded people, just like here. I was surrounded by people who wanted more for their life. They wanted goals. They wanted to make a difference. And I'm just being filled with all this information at a very early age. And so I'm 18 and I'm absorbing it like a sponge. And I didn't know it at the time, but what I found that weekend was my passion, my purpose. And deep inside, and I can only explain it for myself that I know what it was, but deep inside I knew with every fiber of my being that one day, somehow, some way, I was going to be doing something similar. But not just on my own. I was going to be doing it with Zig Ziglar. And I was so confident about it. You know, when you're 18, you're a little overly confident. But I stand in line to shake Mr. Ziglar's hand, and I wait up, you know, all that time, and I go up to him and I say, Mr. Ziglar, I'm going to work for you one day. You wait and see, but I'm going to work for you. And those of you who've ever met Mr. Ziglar, you know he just smiles and shook his head, believing that I would. But I knew, and I can't explain it other than I just knew it was just predestined to be that some way, somehow I'd be associated with him. And that was at 18. But let me fast forward. I literally went to college immediately after, and I spent the next 4.5 years in college. And although I was so passionate, and it helped me through college, and it set goals for me, and I was very successful, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about that goal I made to one day work for Mr. Ziglar. Until one day, my very first job out of college, I was selling copiers. You know the kind of copiers that are those huge office copiers? Now that's a dream job, right? Isn't it? Sorry, for me it definitely was not, but the best thing happened. I was cold calling in Carrollton, Texas one day, and I was in an area I'd never been to, and so I go up to this office park of all these different offices, and at the top of the building it says the Zig Ziglar Corporation. And I literally about fell over because I went to the seminar in Dallas, but truthfully, I had no idea where Zig Ziglar was headquartered. It's not like we had Google back then where I could, find out where he's located. So when I saw that, immediately it came back to me. That's right, I'm supposed to work here! So I run inside, and I go to the front desk, and there's a wonderful woman there, and I say, like almost like a schoolgirl, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this where Zig Ziglar works? And she just smiled, and I said, do you have any job openings? Because I will do anything to work here. What I didn't tell you is when I was in copier sales for those 6 months, I made a promise to myself that I would never be in sales again, ever. But of course, the only opportunity at the Ziglar Corporation was a sales job. So I raced home and I typed up my very first resume. Sent it in, got a call, got an interview, and pretty much got offered the job on the spot. And I'm not telling you that to impress you because let me tell you, 6 months in copier sales is not impressive. And it's not what lands you a job at Ziglar. But I know why that happened. It's because I set an intention. I knew my definition of success. I knew where I wanted to go. Now, you don't always have to know the roads to get you there. But just like a GPS, you have to program in where you are, but where do you want to end up? And you're going to ultimately go in the direction of that. And that's how I got there. And I tell you that story just to give you some background of who I am and what I'm passionate about. But what I do with that is now I share that with other people. Share that legacy to help others to find their passion, to follow it, and then make a difference.